So it's not a live podcast, but we're technically live.
Yeah.
And we got episode, Joey, I always ask you this, what episode is this? 23. Damn.
Awesome.
23 episodes. Yeah. Consistency. Yeah. We've had our ups and downs.
What?
Yeah. Sometimes it gets frustrating sometimes when you try and you set something up and people cancel last minute. That can be a little bit frustrating. But today we got Mr. Jim Macdonald of Teksill. We're going to get into this product. It's basically, from my understanding, and I'll let you take it from here, but from my understanding, it is a water prevention tool, or I'll let you explain exactly what it is, but it's basically for homes to prevent water damage in short. And Jim Macdonald, just a precursor to preface this, Jim Macdonald's been a client of KBD Insurance for, 30 years?
Yeah, plus.
30 years plus?
Yeah.
So, and this is funny enough, this is the first time Jim and I we've spoken on the phone before, but this is the first time we're meeting face to face. So it's a pleasure to meet you face to face. And thank you very much for being for coming today on the Freemium podcast. I'm
psyched and I'm very proud and honored, and thank you. And I'm a long, not just the 30 years. There's another 30 years coming. All right. So
good. I appreciate that.
You better believe it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. When things work good, you don't change it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I like having and we have a lot of clients like that. You know, you're a great client to have, and it's nice. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
We're happy to speak to you. You're happy to speak to us. It's nice and simple. It's a relationship. It's a relationship based a business, and I like. I wish all of our clients were as good as you. Well, most of them we have and not to say we don't have a good book of business. We have a lot of really, really, really great clients, but we appreciate your business. Thank you very much.
I like what you said. The simple relationship. It's the simplicity. If you can keep it simple, get out of the complications. It makes a lot of things work well. You know?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
If an engineer taught me that KISS rule, keep it simple.
Stupid.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep it simple and smart, politically correct.
I used to have, I had a teacher in CJEP, and he used to say the same thing. He'd walk up and go, as the English teacher, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. I find it funny. But tell us about yourself, Jim.
Yeah, gosh. Okay, myself, I'm a hardworking guy. My dad taught me to be a hardworking guy. And my dad was a developer, and he had a lot of homes, and I grew up as a kid building the family home and swinging a hammer, and became my dad's house take care guy since I'm 5 years old.
You're the handy guy.
Yeah, so I don't know how to do anything else.
Where'd you grow up?
Oh boy, well, our summer, born in BC, living in Montreal, grew up in Montreal, West Island, but every summer was, you're out of Montreal, you're in Prince Edward Island. So that's where my dad's from. Built the family home up there. And every summer have to maintain it because it's right by the ocean. The ocean, you know, it does a lot of damage. But yeah, growing up in the West Island and, you know, not knowing to do much more. I went to college, went to John Abbott, but not knowing to do much more than take care of properties. I was put into this trade, you know. So
you're a handy guy.
Yeah, I'm a total handy guy. I'm the house doctor. You know.
What is it about being a handy guy? Because it's just something for me. I am not. I could be on Canada's worst handyman. I'm serious.
Awesome.
And for whatever reason, I like landscaping. I like to I like gardening. I like all that stuff there. So I don't mind manual labor. I actually enjoy manual labor. But when it comes to, I don't know, like putting a nail in, and if it's not working the first time, I get so frustrated. Like, what do you enjoy about being the handyman? I'm just curious about like how handymen's brains work, because I'm just not that.
It's doing it right, and that you know after it's going to last. Myself, it's all the guys that work with me, all the clients I take care of. It's going to be done well. It's going to last a long time, and if you do it right, it's simple. You know. The process is there. So it's building it right. That's you know, that's the satisfaction for a handyman, is that it's done well, it's going to last, it looks good. That's taking care of my dad's houses was okay. Take care of the stuff. It's done. Now you can go on to enjoy the house. You know, whoever's going to take over the house. So
got it. And you still, I would assume you probably still work on your house a lot today.
Oh gosh, you heard that term, the shoe repairman has holes in his shoes?
I have not, but
that's a real.
What's the saying?
The shoe repairman has holes in his
The
shoes.
shoe repairman has holes in his shoes. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my house is last, but I take care of everybody's
Okay.
homes, you know.
Okay.
So it's my go-to thing. I gotta make things work, you know.
So you're a handyman by nature.
Yeah.
You've always been good at it. It seems you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And then you went into the general contracting business here in Quebec, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Teachers were on strike at John Abbott, and I said I had enough. It's enough. I'm working hard, and you're on strike. So
Yeah.
I'm going to start my renovation business.
Okay. So, and that this was around what age? 19?
I was, I think I was 20 and a half.
Okay.
And I went out, and I said, that's it. I'm starting to work because I'm fed up with the teachers being on strike. And then I started my business, and that evolved to from finishing work to general contracting work. It evolved to being a general contractor, getting my license, and just building a good reputation. And that meant for me that if you can't build something reliable, if you can't be honest, and you're gonna have a mess in your career, so do everything right. And since startup, I've never advertised more than 10 minutes. And my renovation business is just nonstop ongoing. The phone is nonstop, and I'm very proud of that.
Still to this day.
Still to this day, I keep it going with Teksill, and I do 50-50. And I got some great guys to help me manage it, and it's, you know, it's the bread on the table, keep things going, so I can keep developing Teksill, you know, strongly. Yeah.
And so Teksill, let's hop into that. Teksill is your baby right now.
Yeah, Teksill, gosh, it's a I call it a construction technology that I'm responsible to bring to fruition. That if this innovative solution can be eliminated and can be learned by homeowners, they're going to have a better house. They're going to have a simpler solution. When flood comes, they're going to have an easier time, you know. So Teksill developed through taking care of people's homes. In 2012, I was renovating a home in Hampstead. Knew it was going to have floods. It was.
How did you know it was going to have floods?
Oh, the couple bought the house. They didn't get it inspected when they bought it and moved in. And a month later, they realized the foundation is super crooked.
Oh, shit.
So we got to get in, that exterior waterproofing membranes and so on. But it was prone, and this basement was going to be a, you know, $70K type of high-end basement in Hampstead, and we had to build it, and the guilt of client putting in a high amount of money, and one flood ruined it. Developed the Teksill prototype.
So you felt, because you knew there was a really good chance that this basement was going to flood, you felt guilty making the doing the $70,000 renovation down in the basement, and you wanted to help prevent that.
I felt compelled. How can I make it better? How can I build this basement, and which is most likely going to have flood water? Thank God they hadn't had any since 12 years later they did. But the build was, how can I better the situation? If he does have water, he's not going to have a disaster in his hand. So this is where the prototype developed. We built it with a prototype, and thank God everything worked out well. That last year, this is a start in 2012, the prototype in this house, and 2022 beginning, they had a ceiling flood, not a foundation flood.
Yeah.
$6,000 damage in the ceilings, but the water came down, had a 1/4 inch of water on the floor, and no damage, no work to do on the walls whatsoever.
Wow.
Not even paint stains. The bottom of the walls dried up fast, but the ceilings needed extensive repairs.
Yeah.
So the solution...
I think a ceiling is, well, you know better than I do, is the ceiling easier to fix than a hardwood floor or a floor in general?
It's just gyprock. Gyprock is easy. And so that's where the product started, and the idea started. And the idea was to build on that and get into research and development and get into, let's turn this into a serious product. Let's turn this into something that makes sense. And we did a lot of R&D, National Research Council, and research development places. And we developed it into what it is now, Teksill, and which is a high performant, recyclable product that's outstanding in my views.
Okay, so we're already here. Let's get into the product. So Mr. Jim brought all these props today.
Yeah.
And I'm happy you brought the props because we're going to be able to actually give a proper explanation, or you're going to be able to give a proper explanation of how this product works.
All right.
So I'll let you start wherever you want to start. We got a piece of wood here.
Yeah.
This box that says Teksill on it, or the Teksill guide, and then some wood and some plastic stuff.
Yeah. So here we go.
Show us the money.
All right. So first of all, I'll show you what people don't want.
Okay.
When you get water in the basement.
Yeah.
This is the wall. That's
Joey, which camera should we show it to? That camera there? Right. Cool. So we'll show it to that camera there.
All right. So when you get water in a wall.
Here, bring it over here.
When you get water in the basement, traditional walls just wick up the water because the walls are on the concrete floor. So
okay, so wait. This is the wall here. The floor is here, and this is the wall here.
Correct. That's your gyprock wall.
Yeah.
Baseboard goes on,
and that's the water.
And
okay,
that's the construction, whether there's insulation or not.
Got it. Okay.
So traditional house, that's how you build your basement. You build your wall frame, and you insulate drywall. And if you happen to if I pour this glass of water on there, well, this soft material is going to absorb it.
Yeah.
So, and this is 48 hours of water. What it does, it just creeps up, and
that's bad. So that can start to develop things like mold.
Yeah. So after 20 years, here's an example of after 20 years.
Yeah. Watch just be careful with the headset wire. That's 20. Oh my goodness.
So this is a worst case scenario. Well, this is after 20 years. It's gone close to. Usually it don't get this bad, but it's gone. This one's gone into decay. This is lumber sitting on the ground. You see the stain.
Yep.
And this is a wonderful family here in Point Claire, and one of the daughters was in the basement, and they had the flood this last month. There's no power, and
with the ice storm.
Yeah, with the ice storm. Yeah. So it got really wet. So of course you had to take things apart, and as we were taking it apart, we discovered behind the walls. Well, take a look, and yuck, take a look even more.
Gross.
And so this is once it's dry, it's not so bad, but once it's wet, it's active and things starts to smell, it's not so bad being dry. It's starting to crumble. But once it's wet, it's black. It's not very interesting. Here's the initially when it was pulled off, it was black and slimy, not fun stuff.
Let me see this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like the whole piece of wood. So in short, for those of you listening, it's basically just it's decayed.
Yeah, that's the
and that's 20 years of water.
That's 20 years of wall sitting in, a regular basement.
Yeah,
doesn't mean it was wet all the time.
Got it.
It just was, your traditional build.
So you saw this once the water damage already happened, and then when you were repairing, I'm assuming you went there to go repair the water damages.
Yeah.
And that's when you offered them to say, hey, I have this product Teksill, is that what happened?
Yeah, and to better the situation,
okay.
They want to rebuild the basement, and we said, well, we can go ahead and put this product that doesn't do this, it does this, creates airflow in the walls. So behind the baseboard, there's always air under your walls. So what this did over here is what Teksill will contour. Now this lumber never soaks up the water. Basically,
but why does that matter? Like so besides the fact when wood gets wet, I know it's bad, but why is it bad? Just because it's mold? Is it just not as strong anymore? Why is it bad? I'm not a handy guy like you.
Yeah, well, it's a soft material. So a simple explanation is, would you go outside in the rain or the snow with a sock on? You put a boot because it's got a rubber base.
Got it.
It breaks it's a barrier. So Teksill keeps this soft material, this sock, off the concrete. Concrete always has moisture inside of it. Whether there's a flood or not, there's always a moisture area. So this is called basically a thermal or an air break under the wall, where having the airflow under the wall removes the moisture that can creep up into the lumber.
So do you only put this product on, do you put it across the whole entire basement floor, or do you only put it where the walls are?
So great question, because traditional basements are built all walls. The walls are built up, and then you decide what you're going to do with the floor. Am I going to put carpet? Am I going to put laminate?
Yeah.
Am I going to pull a subfloor? Or in a case like this, they put a painted floor, an epoxy floor. So very resilient.
Yes.
If you get water, you can wet that epoxy floor 1,000 times, won't hurt it.
And it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this table. It's a hard material. Pour water on it.
Are more and more people getting epoxy basements?
More and more people are looking at the resiliency. They're moving away from carpet, moving away from subfloors, and they're going into laminate or rubberized floors or epoxy, ceramic floors, something that's even polished concrete is very resilient.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Cool. So it does not go across the floors.
Well, yeah, we can build say, here's a picture of a complete floor built up. So you put Teksill under strap and plywood, and now they have a plywood floor. But underneath this floor, there's an airflow now. So the water can run on the complete floor. But it's expensive. Most of the time, you try to encourage clients, let's build this floor as a resilient floor, super resistant. Whether you have 3/4 inch of water, or whether you have a minor leak, or whether you have 4 feet of water, if your floor is resilient, it'll last,
Got it. And then so you build a resilient floor, and then you'll have the Teksill product around the edges where the walls come down.
Yeah, and then that means that the walls, there's an airflow. There's if there's moisture, if there's water flooding, the walls aren't going to do this. They aren't going to wick. We're not going to have lumber that's going to potentially deteriorate, decay, or just get stained and create a smell in the basement. And the air quality that you go down a basement, you say, oh, it's kind of musty smelling.
Yeah,
it's kind of moisture smelling.
Yeah.
Well, that's because there's soft material lumber in the moisture area, the bottom of the walls. And Teksill, by having an elevation, keeps the basements dry. It keeps having a dry basement, having no soft materials on concrete, having the airflow creates a dry air basement and a much better air quality.
Everybody likes a dry air basement, in other words. That's what we want to have, a dry air basement.
Well, a dry air basement, it's the moisture. Get that moisture out of the basement. Get the moisture out, got it. And if your basement is dry air, well, if we always say in construction, get down to technical, if you can have the air in a room without moisture, without huge amount of moisture, it's easier to use that air, heat it or cool it. If the air has a lot of moisture, in a bathroom after a shower, all that humidity, it's hard to heat that air because there's so much moisture in the air. So Teksill removes the moisture in the basement by the airflow.
Where do you get these things made?
Wow, that's a great question. So where is plastic usually made in this world to get it out economically?
China.
Yep. So
I tried to say it with the Donald Trump accent.
Oh gosh.
So, how to say it? China or whatever. Yeah.
So we at Teksill, and I got a funny story about the name after Teksill.
Yeah.
This plug and play product Teksill, which is so easy to install, wanted to make sure that I wanted to have fun with Teksill. With the partners I had, we said, let's build this smart. So where to build Teksill, where to get it made. China was the economical route and the usual route. They said, no, let's invest. Let's look around Montreal,
locally.
Canada.
Yeah,
locally. And we found a solution to have Teksill built right here in Montreal.
Oh, cool.
Canadian made Montreal. Clean,
there you go.
Clean plastic. We're not polluting the air or the water, and we're making sure that it's a clean manufacture.
Is it in the Technopark in Saint Laurent?
No, it's in Pointe-aux-Trembles, off the end of the island.
Yeah, okay.
Near the oil refineries are manufacturers out there, and then we have a great marketing, great manufacturing situation where we associate ourselves with their manufacturer, and we've got a great, smart, great quality plastic, clean build. So we're very
and what's the lifespan of Teksill?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah, it's we did aging tests, and it's hard to get rid of. It's unless you recycle it. It's made from 10% recycled plastic,
Okay.
and it's fully recyclable. And but the lasting of it, the UV doesn't hurt it. You can trample on it. I've drove my truck over it, my diesel truck, heavy truck over it, did not damage it. The weight capacity, a basement wall like this weighs about 40 pounds, 8 feet high, 16 inches wide. Teksill can handle 10,000 pounds per foot, excessively strong. Want to make sure we build it right, we build it strong, it's going to last. So
where did you learn all this stuff? Like, I understand because, so you're the handy guy. You go into this basement in Hampstead. You say, okay, I don't want to put all this money into the renovations because I have a feeling that it's not if, it's when this basement's going to flood. And so you came up with the product Teksill, but you're a handy guy. How did you, like, how do you, who told you to think of all these other things for a product? Because you just saw a problem and you want to fix it. But then when it came to actually developing the product, did you develop the product yourself as well? Or did you get help with regards to the research and development?
Big help with the research and development.
You got a lot of help?
The prototype was a simple thought.
Got it.
I was trying to figure out how can I elevate a wall. And I've had a lot of shop guys say, hey, I could have done Teksill. I used to put hockey pucks under my walls.
Okay, yeah.
Rubber puck, elevate the walls. Great, amazing science. Lift the wall up with a hockey puck, you know? Yeah. So the prototype was...
That's so Canadian.
Hockey puck, yeah. Hockey puck.
Yeah, I used to put hockey pucks in. That's good.
So they last a long time.
Yeah, I can see how, yeah, of
can't
course.
break them.
Yeah, and they're waterproof, so...
Yeah, so the prototype was designed out of Corplast, which has airflow through it, and we took the thicker one and we elevated the walls with it. And we started off being called sill vent because it's the sill, the wall, the sill plate, and there was a vent, a sill vent. We had to change the name. We were forced to change the name, and then we turned into changing the name to Teksill, Teksill. So,
but with regards to this, like, was there a specific firm that you had to go to, a research and development firm? What's the process like for that? Where did you go? Who did you know to, who did you call? Yes. How did you know to call them?
So, yeah, it's, we have in Canada a lot of great resources and reached out to the National Research Council.
Got it.
And they helped us, guide us. Okay, there's these places around Quebec that you can use, and we'll help you, we'll guide you for great development. So we took our prototype, the old sill vent, and brought it to Teksill, and we ended up in Thetford Mines, where there's a plastic research. Thetford Mines used to be a big mining town, and they since over the years evolved, innovated into a plastics research.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, great plastic research. And
do they still do a lot of mining in the area or not really?
I don't. When you drive there, there's huge mountains of soil and different stuff, but I'm not sure about the development they do out there. But the university out there was superb, and the engineers inside there really do a lot of fine stuff. And they helped us. We did a lot of brainstorming, a lot of sitting down. It was a long drive, 3.5 hours to get there. We spent the day there, and the afternoon evolved into, let's do this, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, and turned into this unbreakable product, you know? Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And how about the story of sill vent to Teksill?
Yeah, tell us about
it. The product was originally called and patented sill vent, and we had to change the name. We thought it was a great name because...
And why did you have to change the name? Someone contacted you and said you can't use that name?
Yeah, someone contacted us and said, we can't use that name. And I said, well, that's not right. I patented and I trademarked. I did all the proper routes. And my partners at Teksill said, no, we're just going to change the name. I said, come on, I don't give up easy. Yeah. I said, no, let's just change the name, Jim. Just end of the deal, you know. I said, okay. And the reason was because there was somebody's affiliate company that was objecting to the sound of our name because they had built a product after us that sounded similar.
But is it a similar use?
No, it's for masonry.
Okay, okay. So it has nothing to do with this product in
No, it
terms
was
of
a
competition.
masonry airflow weep holes, and it was called Cellvent, Cell instead of Sylvent. So
I understand. Okay.
so we
Solvent,
changed. We didn't
solvent.
want to. My group said, "Let's not fight with this team. Let's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
let it be and change our name." So we
Why
went.
didn't they want to put the fisticuffs up? Was it a really big company that
You
was?
asked the magic question.
Yeah.
And that was this is the storyliner. Warren Buffett owned the
Oh,
company.
okay, yeah. I wouldn't want to go up against him.
I listened to my team. He
Yeah.
said, "Let's leave it be."
I
Let's
think
change the
he
name."
has deeper pockets than you.
Yeah. So we said, "Okay, I understand now. Let's
Yeah.
just change the name."
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
went on to name it for technology. It's a technology and a sill. So we Teksill is the
Okay.
and our site is easy. It's teksill.com. You know, so now that's why the name changed.
I think it is a nice name, Teksill. 2 syllables, nice and quick.
Yeah.
Teksill.com.
Yeah, Teksill.com is the go-to
Are
site.
you right now the only company that will use this product with regards? So let's say you're going to go renovate a house or you're going to go install the product. Is your general contracting company the only company that will install this product?
No, it's pretty cool. Over the last 4 years of development, we've got into 20 stores. We've got into a lot of marketing, advertising, building.
So you could go to a Home Depot example and buy this.
It's not widespread. It's trying to get into Home Depot and Lowe's is tough. It's a huge ladder. It takes a fireman's truck's ladder to get up there. We're in local independent stores so far, and we signed a nice contract with Taiga Building Products. They are our Canadian distributor, and we're slowly trying to smartly get into the right trades, trade stores.
Do you sell online?
Not yet. No, we haven't evolved into that yet because they're big boxes. They're 4 feet long, and I'm not sure how the delivery guys would like that so much. But it's one of our next in development to try get
To
it
try
online.
and sell some stuff online?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's why that's stuff like this, the video content, it's good for online sales.
Yeah, yeah. So well,
Hopefully, I hope it helps you.
yeah, we're gonna. I think it will.
Good.
Yeah.
So tell us about
All right.
bringing it to market. So you had you had the idea, built the prototype. You had to go through the R&D with the company in Thetford Mines. After that, were there any other hurdles? Because it sounds like, because you just mentioned, to get into Lowe's, you have to climb this ladder.
Yeah.
And what are those hurdles to bring this product to market? And I know you got like a big list over there.
I'm just trying to get my mind going here.
Are these the questions that I sent you? Or
Yeah.
these are just, they
Yeah,
are?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
I don't even remember.
That's good.
I
It's-
kind of remember the questions, but that's why, you see what I mean? It's very
Yeah.
conversational.
it's also right from the heart. It's better, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
so
But yeah, bringing it to market,
Okay, so-
regulations, laws, all that
wow.
that crap.
Yeah, heavy duty.
Talk to us about that.
Okay, so after product development, associating ourselves with a great manufacturer, getting the products made and tested until we're satisfied, then it's like, okay, we actually have now the finished product. We've got the box and packaging. Let's go and try to influence the construction market, the stores, get into stores. Let's talk to the insurance companies. And a construction product, gosh, it's close to being a medical approval. Before we can sell Teksill in stores, we can install in people's homes, we can try to get insurance companies to listen to it, but we're not approved.
Approved by who?
The Canadian, the CCMC is the Canadian Construction Materials Center. So for a product to be house approved, to have a license to sell a construction product in Canada, you have to go through the CCMC, the Canadian Construction Materials Center, which they go through stringent engineering testing. And if you pass it, you get a license to sell a construction product in Canada, just like siding, Tyvek, plumbing products, and so on. So we finally, after 3 years, got our approval, and we're an official CCMC, Canadian licensed construction product, which is huge for us because
And
now,
that was when? This is recently?
about a month and a half ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
Good
thank
for
you. It
Good
took
for you.
us a good 3 years, and we're really happy to have it because now we're official in Canada as far as a Canadian construction product.
That's great.
Insurance companies can see, yeah, this is an official Canadian building
It
product.
has the stamp of approval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the CCMC stamp, Canadian flag, and a check on it,
Nice.
And for us, it's
And it's manufactured in Canada as well.
yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
And it's
That sells. If I see manufactured in Canada, I want to buy it. And I have the same feeling with US. I'd rather buy from Canada, but any manufacturing done here in North America, I prefer to buy local.
Yeah, I like that too because, with Teksill, I want to develop and spend the money here and keep the expenses going here. Why not? It's very well made. We know that we have control over, the distribution, where it's going, how it's being made, So pre-COVID, we came out a month pre-COVID, and gosh, if we did go the overseas route, we would have got hammered because of the shipping costs.
Containers, yeah,
went up like crazy.
Yeah.
And
I had someone on last week, and he works in shipping and transport logistics, more specifically. He said at the peak, a container was 10x the price of what it is today. He said, generally speaking, to ship a container, it's about $2,500 to get it from China back over here. He said it was up to $25,000 a container at one point.
Crazy.
Yeah, nuts.
Yeah, so I'm really happy we went the responsible route, keep it local. We didn't have any shipping problems. So that was a big blessing for us at Teksill, that we could control the distribution without any shipping troubles.
Yeah. So you got it approved by the CCMC.
CCMC, yeah.
CCMC. Okay. Are there any other steps that you have to go through now, or you're good to go? Now it's just a matter of brand awareness. People know who you are, and basically selling the product. Are there more hoops and red tape you have to go through?
No, right now we started selling in stores, but it's the home builders can now have confidence. They've got an official Canadian building code product. The insurance companies can now have confidence. This is a Canadian branded licensed product. So homeowners can say, wow, this thing's been through a lot of tests. This thing is an official, solid product. So now it's about creating awareness to the builders, to the DIY, the homeowners, the handyman, and to the future handyman, and to the whole industry that has to do with the house, the home. So now it's about getting going and trying to get awareness. So with all these aspects, insurance companies, homeowners, builders.
And how are you doing that?
Well, now that we're finally CCMC approved, we can now go 100%. Before, we couldn't go 100% in marketing and awareness because we weren't CCMC approved. It's a huge limit. So now we're starting a marketing campaign.
Where are you starting the campaign?
Well, we associate ourselves with a super dynamic, smart fella who's his name is David Bond, and he's a bright guy that knows the industry very, very well.
The construction industry.
Construction, DIY.
What's DIY? Do it yourself?
Do it yourself,
okay.
Homeowners.
Yeah.
And the complete, he's seen it all. He knows it all in the TV shows and the companies coming up.
With regards to marketing.
Yeah. So
he'll do all like the PR. He'll help you with the brand awareness. He'll help you with all that stuff. He knows where to take you.
Yeah. And we've done a lot, but we needed a pro to help us get it to the next level.
Got it.
And do we have the right message going out there? We've been talking to insurance companies for 3 years. Did we approach it the right way? Teksill is not just for water flood mitigation. It also applies to better air quality in homes. So now that we can, brag about it and go on and promote it as much as we can, we're going to act it the smart way, and we've got the right help and resources now.
So he's helping you to refine the sales pitch, if you will, or the message, the tone of, this is Teksill, this is the product, this is what it does, and this is why you should buy it, because it does X, Y, Z. And there's kind of just that message that's going to come across with regards to what is the brand in the eyes of the consumer. He's helping you with that message. Yeah.
And, market and educate the building organizations across Canada.
Got it.
There's Quebec, it's the APCHQ, the CHBA across Canada, Canadian Home Builders Association.
Yeah. This is one of the big reasons, sorry to cut you off there, Jim. This is one of the big reasons I wanted to bring you on, because you've been working in construction for so long. But this company, it's a new company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you started a new company. And because I remember when you called me what, 5-6 years ago, and you were asking me about, hey, can you put me in contact with the insurance companies? And and I don't know, I take care of the sales and service when it comes to the claims. I have a little bit of an idea, but I'm not a claims adjuster. I don't work in that world. Yeah. We're very fortunate. The insurance companies, typically speaking, like that's their domain, and most of the time it's handled by them. And so I reached out to a few people, and I don't think you got anywhere with it because probably the CCMC, that would be my guess. But I remember that, but I respected the fact that you were hustling. You're like, hey, I have this product. It's a really good product. It works, and I'm trying to get it to market. Can you help me get it to market? And I always respect that. I'll always try and help people who are who are hustling. They're grinding.
A good point. Coming from being a general contractor and trying to put a product to market, well, a huge step. It's
I'm
something
sure.
I
Yeah,
didn't know.
I'm sure.
And that's the reason I associated myself. Teksill became not I, came we.
Yeah.
I have a great team of partners and associates, which
how many are you?
We're 5.5.
5.5.
5.5.
Who's the half?
Well, our manufacturer is two great guys,
okay, got it.
Francois and Mimo,
okay.
So they're like 6. They're awesome guys. So we have a lot of great heads. And one of our partners, when Teksill started, and I tried to show to him, he's a medical guy and he's a medical genius guy, and he kept telling me, unmet need. What's the unmet need? What's the unmet need? And this developed my strength into pushing for Teksill. Because, what's the unmet need in a basement? Well, why do we have this? Why do we have walls absorbing water? And Teksill is meeting that unmet need by reducing water damage, by reducing the stress to a family which has a water flooded basement, which you got to cut out your walls, take your furniture out, have contractors in for a month or 2 months, deal with insurance companies to have insurance claims negotiations. That's very hard stuff. And
stressful.
Very stressful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Water in a basement is no fun. And I've got the side of learning from being a contractor to being the Teksill team guy is, also how to educate the insurance companies, or make them aware of what this can happen. I have to see all the sides of the story, from a handyman, from the contractor, from the homeowner, the builders who build homes, and the insurance companies. And what tears me up with insurance companies is that they hold the darn warranty to the basement of a house. Insure a home. If you get water down, and now when I ask the questions to homeowners, what do you think about building a more preventative basement? It's a lot of times it's going to rest on the insurance company's back. Don't worry about it. The insurance is going to take care of this. Like, okay, well, there's a better way and to turn your basement to a resilient basement so you don't have this huge stress. And for the insurance companies to hold that, they carry on their back the basement load cost. That's tough.
Did you ever think about going directly to the contractors? Because a lot of times in the insurance companies, they'll dispatch the claims. For those of you that don't know, this is how it works. So at least in Quebec, and interesting, I went to this trade show in the US. It's completely different in the US, which I found interesting because I was picking this claims adjuster's brain. And I'm like, so hold on. Like, you don't fix the stuff? He goes, no, most of the time we just give a check and let them do it. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I guess that works too. But in Canada, Quebec specifically, because it's where I have the most experience, they will, if you have a claim in your basement, water damage, you're going to call up the insurance company, and then the insurance company is going to, it's almost never the actual insurance company going to fix the repairs. It's a contractor hired by the insurance company that's going to go fix the repairs. So what I was going to say is, have you ever tried to infiltrate the network of contractors that, for example, work with Intact? Let's take them as an example. Try and infiltrate them to sell the product. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, we had a program and we did a study, and the insurance contractors, they're so hardworking, stressed. They got to get that wet basement dried, then they got to get it built, and they got to do it quick and under strict budget. Do it smart. Insurance company's not there to invest into a homeowner's home. They got to do the repair and do it right.
And get out.
Yeah. So the insurance contractors don't have time to promote, sell a new prevention. So we're started now that we're CCMC approved. We've got more ability to show these insurance contractors there's a better way. You can introduce this prevention, which hopefully eventually the insurance companies will say, yeah, you got one flood. If you install this device, we'll be happy because your second flood won't be that much damage. It'll be minimum.
I'll play devil's advocate. If I'm an insurance company and I'm the claims adjuster team, I'm going to go get it, because you're right. The insurance companies, you know, especially the bigger they get, they'll tell the contractor, okay, here's your job, but they're strict with them. And if the contractor keeps messing up the jobs, they're not finishing the jobs, the repairs on time, they're going to go find another contractor, and the contractor is going to lose all that work. That's what will happen. Yeah. So if I'm the insurance company, again, just to play devil's advocate, I'd go, statistically speaking, this person's not going to have, or this house isn't going to have another residential claim for another 20 to 25 years. I don't care. I'm just, because those are the stats. It's about every 20 years, someone for home insurance will have a claim.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a kind of like a don't care situation.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth the effort of improving or creating a prevention process inside. It's a huge investment.
And when you look at the actual data, I mean, it's like lightning striking twice. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm just trying to put myself in the mind of an insurance company. That's probably what they're thinking. And they're going to go, you know what, this is just an added cost that we don't really see the benefit from this, because statistically speaking, if we take the law of averages, this house isn't going to be hit twice. And if it does get hit twice, it's so rare that it's not worth it for us to go put the investment into the added cost for this.
Yeah, I guess that's where the math is in the percentage and the averages. But if we look at the climate change, and I know it's a big topic, and we look at what's been happening in Quebec.
It's like we're in a boardroom right now. I'm the insurance company. You got to sell me.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Well, I don't like the fact that you insurance company has to pay for all the water floods. I'd like to try and make your water flood claim minimal. I'd like to save millions and see that compounded savings help the insurance companies big time. So I'm not just a Teksill guy. I'm also trying to help the insurance companies.
Yes. And they'll pass the savings, not all of it. They'll keep some of it for them, but they will pass some of those savings on to the consumer.
Yeah, I suppose so, because let's say that the next claim is not 20, 15, 30,000. It's 3,000 or 2,000. That's a delight for the wallet of the insurance company on a payout, I presume.
Yes.
And that's what we're, at Teksill trying to promote the insurance companies. What I really find fascinating with the insurance companies is the standard to create with hot water tanks. Every 10 years, you got to change a hot water tank in a house.
Yep.
Why? Because they decided, why take the risk of keeping a homeowner's old 30-year hot water tank that can leak and create hot water damage in a house? That's such a smart savings for insurance company. They cut so much insurance claim costs with that. We look at oil tanks that have to be changed. I believe it's every 12 years. That standard from insurance companies says, wow, they're going to cut a huge amount of oil claims in homes. Cars, now the standard is put winter tires on or else you get a ticket. And that standard created by insurance companies creates a huge saving. There's so much less accidents now with vehicles in the winter. Teksill, if the venting, doesn't have to be Teksill, but if hockey puck under a wall, if the wall was elevated in a basement home, if the client was told, one flood, do something about it so it doesn't happen, well, will that be a savings long-term for that insurance company if there's a second disaster, a second power outage, a second flood in that house? Well, as this couple in this house, they didn't call their insurance company. They had a flood, an hour shop vacuum fans, no damage, no insurance call. That's what I find extremely beneficial for insurance companies.
So the only ways, just another question, because I'm looking at this photo right here. So let's say there's water damage. In order to put this product, because you have to put it underneath the walls. So basically, let's say there's already an existing finished basement. The Teksill product is not installed.
Correct.
They have a flood. Let's say the whole basement's ruined. They have to redo the whole entire basement. Basically with Teksill, because they're going to be opening up the wall, that's when you would put the Teksill underneath.
Yep.
Okay, can you explain to me just the process of, I already have a finished basement. How do I get this Teksill product in my house?
Well, it's invasive. So if you want to install it in pre-existing walls, the ideal time is if you have a flood. The insurance is cutting out a foot of drywall around the room. And then with the Teksill guide...
I didn't know that. Okay, so when there is they'll cut the gyp rock all around the wall?
Depends how long the water's been in the basement and how fast they can dry out. Usually they'll cut the drywall under the baseboard so you don't have to see it and repair the walls.
Got it.
Or depends how wet it is, they'll cut a foot around the walls.
Huh, I didn't know that.
And so the bottom of the walls are open up to about over here. At that time, the frame's exposed. And we can use a Teksill guide, which is an easy retrofit guide. You install on the bottom, on the plate, and you do a cut. You can do 10 feet at a time. You pull out the old sill plate, you put the new one in, it's cut higher, and now you have an elevated installation with Teksill down below it. That's a minimal invasive job when the basement's wet. You don't take all the walls down. You're just working with the bottom of the wall. It's very doable. And that's if a client wants to install Teksill without having to rip their basement apart. Ideally, it's when you're building your basement, you install Teksill.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's definitely a preventative product.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically a plug and play, easy to install. It's so easy, a child can install it on the 2x4.
You think I could install it, even though I would be on Canada's worst handyman?
Let's give it a try.
So we got this.
Got that.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
You're done. Click. One click, it's installed.
Yeah.
It won't fall off. It grabs on. And now you can
put it here, and now it's elevated. And then so when the water comes, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, the water's under the wall at that point. Yeah. So your drywall lands over here. So you have, this is 2,000 liters of water before your walls start to wick. So that's quite a bit of water. Foundation crack has a light stream of water, a hot water tank. And so the 2,000 liters of water, if someone has 3-4 inches of water, well, you can still dry it out. And today, people, I find, they're a lot more home these days, and you notice if there's water in your house. And if your basement stays wet more than 48 hours, you've got a mold problem. When materials are wet more than 48 hours, they start to create mold and bacteria. If you can catch it before then and dry it out before then, you don't have to change all your drywall. So I got a perfect example for drying out. Right here in the West Island, Dorval, we have a company called Safety Express. They specialize in water restoration products. And they have an academy. They teach contractors how to become water restoration specialists, fully licensed, international standards. They've got this, it's in a manufacturing area. They've got a huge buildings, and they have a little house, a little 6-year-old bungalow, it's part of their academy. Every month and a half or so, they have a new class, 6 to 8 contractors, and they go in and say, okay, the class starts. They got a fire hose, take it out, and they flood the bungalow. 2,000 liters of water on the ground floor. It all seeps where? Into the basement. In this basement, we outfitted the basement. Half is standard build, standard subfloors, standard walls, drywall, floor, plywood, so on. And the other half is Teksill walls, Teksill subfloor. And we have traps in the floors, traps in the walls, all kinds of electronic sensors. They go Wi-Fi and they send the readings of the moisture into the cloud. So there you go. They're given the house 2,000 liters of water on its ground floor, dry it out. How long will it take to dry it out? So day one, they started extracting this 2,000 liters of water in the basement and on the carpets on the ground floor. And the tests prove by the end of the week, it's day 7. By the end of the week, they've dried a lot in the house. The basement part that's non-Teksill takes 6 to 9 days to remove the relative moisture out of the subfloor and the walls. 6 to 9 days. The Teksill side, how long do you think it takes to dry the Teksill side? This is fully tested.
Half a day.
You're really close. It's better than, it's 20 hours. 20 hours.
Okay.
20 hours, the full floor, full wall is back to normal. So in that case, when they caught it fast, the 48 hours, the insurance is a huge winner because 48 hours, you have to start changing materials, drywall, baseboards, and walls because of the mold starts to grow. If the insurance company can catch it and dry it before that 48 hours up, usually the
savings for everyone and saved headaches for the homeowner.
Yeah, and repeatedly I see homeowners rebuilding a basement after a flood. It's like the 2 months is easy. It could go into 3 months easy of disturbance in your house and furniture everywhere and materials outside. And also as a handyman, a builder, when I see the purchase of materials necessary to rebuild a wet basement, it's a huge amount of materials wasted. It's not sustainable. See, this build here is traditional. It works. It's solid. You've been doing it. But with a Teksill installation, we create sustainability. We're not changing drywall. We're not changing studs. We're not having this decay rot under a wall. So the sustainability, apart from being a prevention product, we're not filling containers and landfills with materials by dumping. And yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's been the toughest part about bringing this product to market? Or you know what? No, let's make it even more broad. What's been the toughest part about Teksill for you?
It's the education. It's the how to teach.
And educating who?
Well, it's the building the product, associating with partners, doing the research and development has all been strong and fun and interesting. But it's getting the product to be known to Canadian homeowners is a tough one. You're introducing them, build it a better way, do it another way. Oh, it's another cost. Showing the insurance companies, oh, it's another stress, another way. It's another complication in the process of standards insurance company. But for the homeowners, we look at, oh, it's another cost to my basement. Why? And the builders, oh, it's another cost to the construction. Teksill costs 0.05% of the cost of building a basement. It's a minimal cost. It's just because it's new, it's an innovative product. Teaching the homeowners.
What is the cost for Teksill?
Okay, Teksill is sold in 4-foot lengths.
Yeah.
They're $12 a piece.
Got it.
So a box contains 20. Your average home needs about 3 boxes of Teksill, 60 pieces.
Yeah.
So you got between $500 and $600 of Teksill to be installed in a basement. A basement costs between $25,000 to $35,000 to $50,000 and up, depending what you're doing. But
and it's $500.
And it's $500.
Yeah.
And what's an insurance? I got a question for you. What's an insurance deductible on a basement? Your average deductible?
$1,000.
Wow, so $1,000. So Teksill costs half of that insurance deductible, and there's the logic of trying to teach homeowners and insurance companies, like how do you look at this, which is a preventative medicine. It's going to cost you half your deductible, and and if a client has 3 floods 3 times, here's a good example.
Well, and just if I can interrupt you there,
Yep.
if someone has 2 floods, you're not getting water insurance after that. The insurance companies will not give you water damage after that.
That's scary.
And you got to do it for, I remember this lady, I spoke to her, this was years ago when I was still working on the phones for home and car insurance. And she called me and she goes, hey, I've had, right off the bat, because all the insurance companies were refusing her, she said, I have 2 water claims in the past 2 years.
Gosh.
I said, good luck, lady. I said, I can't help you either. She's like, oh my God, I should have never made that second claim.
Oh, she's, yeah.
Yeah, she couldn't get it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's going to be like that for 5 years.
Hey, what a.
And not only she can't get it, she's going to have to do all those preventative measures as well. The biggest one that I see, and you probably see this as well, the biggest one that I see is in places like St. Lazare, where when there's a really big storm, because some people, they only have 1 sump pump and they don't have a battery backup. Yeah. Well, when the electricity cuts out, the sump pump isn't going to work, and that's when the basement floods.
Yeah, and what do you do if you can't insure your basement? Don't build a basement. What do you do with that square footage of not being able to use your home? So.
Or you're gonna have to put preventative products in.
Yeah, well,
or you don't finish the basement at all. You don't care when it floods, but then you have all that unused space in your house. So it's
So I have an example on that exact detail you said. We have a client in Kirkland, had 7 years prior a flood with one of the biggest insurance companies. cost that first flood cost her the basement rebuilt $27,000.
Which isn't even a lot.
No.
And that's 7 years ago. That's closer to 36, 37 today, maybe more.
She had a flood last year.
Okay.
49,000.
Yeah, there you go.
The same basement, which was rebuilt.
There you go.
7 years later, 49,000.
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
in 7 years, that cost you this awesome insurance company close to $78,000. And so she finally said, I'm rebuilding with Teksill.
Nice.
And a resilient floor. And she had a small water intrusion. It was a wipe up. It was don't call the insurance company.
No big deal.
No big deal. She's still insured now, you know? So there's part of the frustration I see where why should an insurance company hold? I understand the 2 claims, you're out, like baseball, but even the 1 claim, the insurance company's on the hook. On every basement flood, the insurance company's on the hook for that cost.
Yeah.
This simple standard of elevating the walls would dramatically cut out so much damage, you know? But
just like preventative measures, it would be depending on where you're living. But let's just take the same example, Saint Lazare. If you did Teksill, you had like a water resistive floor, a sump pump, and a battery backup, and then perhaps even a second sump pump because sometimes the sump pump just stops working.
Yeah.
That way there, and if you really want to go ham, you get some water sensors. That would be it.
Yeah, you're at that point you realize I gotta do something to make sure I don't have a disaster in my basement. Yeah. And now I hear a lot of people want to go generators. It's like the generator market is exploding now because of, you know.
Well, we keep losing power in Quebec. The power grid's not very good here.
Yeah. So, you know, I look at Teksill as being a no-brainer. You know, it's like the minimal cost. When you're building your basement, it's like it's a slide on, you know, and there's other products out there that do the same thing as Teksill. You know, we have fuse breakers. Why do we have fuse breakers in the house?
You know better than I do.
So the house doesn't burn down, so the homeowner doesn't get electrocuted.
That's a pretty good reason.
Yeah, that's a lot of insurance savings having that fuse breaker, you know. Why do we have rebar and concrete? Because the concrete foundation stays intact. Why do we have rebar and bridges? The concrete is stronger. You know, why do we have house wrap before we put siding on? When the water and moisture goes behind siding, it doesn't rot the wall frame, you know. Why do masonry walls have weep holes? Because we're draining the moisture behind a brick wall. There's always moisture behind a brick wall with the temperatures. So that airflow in the masonry wall prevents rot. Teksill is the same thing, a roof. When we put roof shingles on, why do we put a preventative membrane? Because it prevents, even if water's going through shingles, if you have ice damming, prevents roof rot.
Water causes a lot of damage, eh?
Yeah. And it really, you know, this is what, as growing up as a builder, and it's like, how can I counter this water damage to homes? It's just one water flood is a disaster. How can you counter that, you know? In building, you go with all the preventative products you offer to your client. And that's been part of the excitement about building Teksill is like, it'll do a lot. It'll save a lot. It'll save landfills. It'll save the homeowner from disasters. It'll save the insurance companies millions and millions. But the hard part, like you brought up that question for, is
getting it to market and educating.
Yeah, educating people that there's a better way.
Do you think that since you have that stamp of approval, the CCMC, since you've gotten that, do you think that is a major breakthrough in helping you get this product to market and educating the right people?
Yeah, yes, it's brought us to another level where we're official now. We're Canadian official license code product.
Since you got it a month and a half ago, have you what's changed? Is that when you went to go hire David Bond?
Yeah, we've been talking with David Bond for quite a while now, and the CCMC was okay. You guys passed that leap of being a not so sure product to being. Now you're a Canadian official. You got that stamp. The Canadian stamp says you're Canadian government approved. So now we have bragging rights. Now we have certification that it's an official, usable. It'll last. Canadian standards are all there. this thing is going to do good for your home. When we didn't have that stamp, well, it's an unsure product. It's like,
I get it.
So
yeah, what's this again? Where is it?
Yeah,
I get it.
And now we've noticed we're starting. We can now start cross Canada thinking about it and educating. And
also too, in the eyes of the consumer, having that stamp there is going to go up. Okay, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say in manufacturing, to insure manufacturer plants, if the manufacturer has ISO, if they're ISO approved, it's basically just International Standardization Organization. I forget what it's called. International. It's basically just a stamp of approval that they have to pay for.
Yeah.
That they have their manufacturing process is standardized. So each time this is how long it takes. This is what we do. This is the quality control, and it gives that stamp. The insurance companies like to see that because they go, oh, okay, so this person takes their business seriously.
Okay.
Most of the time as well, there's going to be credits associated with that. They're going to pay less for their insurance. It's just showing everyone that they're at a high level.
Good point. At Teksill, we take it very serious.
Yeah.
Not only is it approved CCMC, our manufacturer's ISO.
There you go.
And because we want to be well made.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make a product, it's gotta last. It's gotta be well made. So our manufacturer is ISO approved, and we're very proud of that, and we're so proud that we associated with our manufacturer. So it's a well manufactured and very, very how could I say, it's a no-brainer, built in Montreal product that's going to be easy accessible because it's built here by a good manufacturer.
What are your goals in the next 5 years for this product?
Well, besides being in business and knowing that Teksill has to evolve financially and you have to create sales, a product needs sales. It's more about
how are your sales going right now? Are you the only person selling the product right now?
Well, we signed up with the Taiga Building Products Company, which is one of Canada's biggest lumber distributors. And so we're with the CCMC now being official, we're starting to see change. We're starting to see awareness. The local stores that we're in, the independent stores, they're always having gradual sales as more and more awareness has happened. We were very limited on being able to market to the construction association because we weren't CCMC. Now that step is taken, now it's time to go full force.
Are you the person leading that charge, or do you have a salesperson that's helping you out that's leading that charge?
Well, I have been the person in the team that's doing the sales, besides some of our partners helping us out in all the marketing aspects and the YouTube videos and the emailing to different companies. But now with Taiga Building Products, they're now promoting Teksill to all the big chains, trying to get trying to get the awareness. There's a new product out there. It's CCMC approved, and it's going to do good. And where the goals are from here to 5 years is, one is to hopefully reduce water damage waste, reduce homeowners' disasters in their homes, reduce the millions to be paid out by the insurance companies, and create a home better air quality. Now, if I could see all that happening from here to 5 years, I said, wow, Teksill's magic is working. People are having better air quality in their homes. They're not having as much disasters in their basements. The disaster is not tearing their life apart. And on the side of the insurance companies, for them to eventually benefit from, wow, this basement had Teksill. It's not going to cost us a lot of money. Teksill, it has sensors, other products that help them save a lot of money. Those are huge goals, and it's not just for the financial aspect. It's
peace of mind.
Peace of mind, yeah, and seeing a project work out and seeing that this thing is.
I've seen people have water damage. We deal with claims, right? I've seen people who have had water damage, and even though the insurance company is paying for the claim, it sucks.
Oh, yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
No, it's
the worst water. Teksill would not have helped at all in this particular scenario because there was literally like 4 feet of water in the basement. One of my buddy's grandfathers, the water main broke in Point Claire. came into his house.
Ooh,
I've never seen water like that in my life.
4 feet of water. Eh?
It was like you couldn't even go in. So he's like, come check this out. I go downstairs. I'm like, holy crap, this is
Canoe basement.
Yeah, legitimately, yeah. And yeah, it was bad.
Well, in those cases,
Yeah.
just to be technical, the drywall would be damaged and the wall frames would be stained with sewage water, category 3 water.
Yeah.
But the wall frames could be salvaged because they could be dried and reused. If the insurance company was trying to salvage cost, the frames could be, sure, you're changing drywall 4 feet high at that point.
Yeah.
But the wall frames can be dried out and they can be disinfected. So, and the homeowner, if he's getting a minimal or a hard payout on his insurance claim, well, you can say, okay, I'll change the drywall, but my wall frames be okay because I can dry them out and I can disinfect them. So at least I got a cost on my wall frames. So even on a massive water flood, there's a benefit to having the airflow under the walls. And on the point on that is, we're also, I'm a hard to stop guy. I don't know if I'm hard headed, but to prove a point, is I want my points to be, understood, before somebody else makes a decision. And I've been talking with the Canadian Code Council, and it's trying to educate them that why not elevate the walls and create airflow? Just that simple airflow will create less wall troubles. Basements will last longer, and it's really hard to change the Canadian code.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure
we're leaving that to.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I think that's a really good place to leave the podcast at. Is there more stuff you want to keep chatting about? Anything?
Well, we have a saying at Teksill, and one of our young guys decided he sees the benefits of Teksill. He says it all starts with the sill. So we're, I really thanks for the opportunity, and gosh, it's
my pleasure.
It's been fun to be able to talk about Teksill, and
it's good. I like helping people out that are, on the grind. I'm trying to grow my business as well, so I can appreciate and I respect when I see that in other people when they're trying to succeed as well, when they're trying to grow a business. I can relate to on a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go well, and there's a lot of things that don't go so well, and it can be frustrating and very discouraging sometimes. Yeah. So I salute you for that, and I hope it's a great product. I'm confident you'll probably have some more future success moving forward, especially after that stamp of approval.
Oh yeah, the big stamp,
the big one, yeah.
And as an innovative developer, I appreciate being here, and it's very impressive how, as a broker, you've got this this news coming out about all different types of evolving businesses, and I
try my
cool.
best. It's basically just like why I want to come up with this. Number one, I just enjoy speaking to other people and picking their brains about things. I like to learn about this stuff. The other part was from an insurance company. Every single time you see an insurance company ad, number one, no one really likes to watch insurance company ads, and number two, it's always the same message: call us and save $400, more or less. Call us and save $200. Call us and save $300. Maybe they'll say it in a funny way, or maybe they'll say it in a more serious way. But it's generally speaking the same tonality for all the messaging. And I want to come up with something. Number one, I don't have as big a budget as all the big insurance companies. That's the first part. The second part was, hey, I'll try and have a cooler approach, if you will, that people actually perhaps want to listen to. And sometimes people don't always agree with what I say or like what I'm saying, but most of the time they do. And I try and give value to the viewer, and having people like you on, they can, hopefully there's some people out there that will see that and go, hey, I'm a general contractor. Hey, shit, someone just had a flood. I'm fixing it right now. And they'll hit you up for something.
I see you're making insurance exciting. That's really cool.
I don't know if I'm making it exciting. I'm trying to make it more exciting than it used to be, at least.
Oh, well, yeah.
But Jim, thank you so much. So this is Mr. Jim Macdonald of Teksill.
Teksill Solutions at teksill.com. Yeah, we're
water preventative products for your basement. I'm Curtis Killen, president at KBD Insurance, home, car, and business insurance in Ontario and in Quebec. That's it.
Best broker in the business.
Best broker in the
By
business.
far.
Thank you. Thank you. And a testimonial from Jim Macdonald. I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you so much, Jim.
All right. I
Cheers.
appreciate it.